I'm just going to give you a little taster on the sort of classes that we do. So I'm going to give you a quick class on hormones. Now, some of the other speakers have spoken about hormones, so you should be familiar with this stuff. But I'm going to go through the science behind hormones. So this is the science behind hormones. So what is a hormone? Hormones are chemical messengers that give the cells instructions. So Claudine, who's left now, she talked about this earlier. But just to hammer it home, they give your cells instructions. Your body is made up of trillions and trillions of cells. So you've got muscle cells, you've got nerve cells, you've got brain cells, pancreas cells, bone cells, heart cells. Each one of those cells needs instructions. The cell needs to do something in your body, but it needs instructions. So hormones give your cells instructions. They tell the cells what to do. So I like to use analogies when I'm explaining science. It's like you being at your office and it's a new job and you need your boss to tell you what to do. So you being at your office, you're like a cell. The people in the office, they're cells and they're waiting for instructions from the hormone, which is their boss. The hormone comes, they might just give them their instructions like this. Okay, here's what you're doing today. Here's your instructions. Then the cells gather around. Okay, gather around cells. Here's our instructions. This is what we're doing today. And then they read their instructions and then go and do what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, that's what hormones do. They give the cells instructions. Now, another analogy, especially pertaining to what we're talking about today, is like a mother and her children. If you've got really young children, you have to give them instructions every day. So you're acting as a hormone to your children who are the cells. You have to give them instructions on how to behave, what to do. Yeah, so that's what hormones do. They go around, they're released by glands. They're secreted from glands of the endocrine system. Hormones released in the brain are called neurotransmitters. They are electrical messengers that give the brain cells instructions. Now the glands, I'm sure you're familiar with some of them. You might not be familiar with all of them. You've got your pituitary gland that's in your brain. Then you've got your thyroid gland and your parathyroid gland that's in your neck. Thyroid gland controls your metabolism. Parathyroid that controls your calcium levels. So they're going to secrete hormones that are going to tell your cells instructions on metabolism and calcium. Adrenal glands, what does the adrenal glands release? Adrenaline. Adrenaline, when it's released, it gives your cells instructions on to speed up and be in a heightened state of awareness and that sort of stuff. The adrenal glands also release cortisol though. Cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Yeah, so when you're under stress, cortisol is getting released. Pancreas, anyone know what the pancreas releases? Insulin. So insulin is a hormone that gives your cells instructions to open up for glucose. That's the instruction that insulin gives your cells. Okay, glucose is coming in, open up. Yeah, and then your ovaries and testes, your estrogen and your testosterone. Now, this is in your body. Even just in your brain, look how many hormones, neurotransmitters get released in the brain. Yeah, so these are all instructions. Now, here's the thing when it comes to your body. The body can't release all of these hormones at the same time because that would just be too many instructions for the cells. That would be confusion. Yeah, that's like being at work and line manager's telling you one thing and next line manager's telling you another and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Too many instructions. So the body releases these at different times of the day. Yeah, all of these hormones. Now, again, you might not be familiar with all of them, but you should be familiar with some of them. Oxytocin. When is that released? Breastfeeding, yeah. And when you give birth, yes, they call this the love hormone. This is what connects you to your baby. If you have a C-section, they might give you synthetic oxytocin so you don't hate your baby. Seriously. They might have to give you, they might have to inject you with oxytocin because that's supposed to be released naturally for you to have a bond with your baby. Yeah? So that's oxytocin. Prolactin. You all know what prolactin is? Again, for breastfeeding, that's going to produce more breast milk for the baby. And people that do my course, you know about this one, melanocyte stimulating hormone. That's going to stimulate your melanocytes to produce melanin. So these are all going to give your cells instructions. Very, very important instructions. Now, when it comes to these hormones, like prolactin and oxytocin, they get released through breastfeeding. So guess what? This becomes the first time you, black woman, give your baby instructions. This is you giving your baby instructions before you even open up your mouth to them. This is instructions. That's what's in the milk. That's what's in the milk. Instructions you're giving. And again, we went through prolactin, that's a hormone. And Oxytocin, that's a hormone as well. But however, if a black woman is under a lot of stress, what gets released? Cortisol. So guess what you'll be feeding your baby if you are under stress? Cortisol. Yeah? And then that might affect them in later life. They might start suffering from anxiety and depression and all this sort of stuff, not knowing where it's coming from. This is how you give your baby instructions before you even open up their mouth. Yeah? Through milk. Breast milk. Human breast milk. Because milk is instructions. Therefore, if you're drinking anything other than human breast milk, what sort of instructions are you getting? So if you're giving your baby anything other than human breast milk, what sort of instructions are you giving your baby? Like, think about it. Cow's milk is cow instructions. So, you're giving your human baby cells cow instructions. Think about it, that's going to create a lot of confusion. Like, again, going back to my analogy. Your baby cells are like, okay, what are we doing today? I don't know, we're just going to wait for our instructions. Oh, here they come. Here come the instructions. Okay, here comes the instructions. Gather around, cells, gather around. Okay, read the instructions. What are we supposed to be doing today? Looks like it's in a different language. Can't quite read it. Just try read it. Okay, I think it says, eat grass all day and moo. I'm not getting it. I don't understand.